Like I said, welcome aboard. This is going to be hopefully a productive course that helps you elevate your score. And hopefully after you complete this course, you will be, you'll be noticing decent amount of progress. And I think we have to understand that reading is nothing but a test of your vocabulary. But this is something that we repeatedly say, reading is test of your vocabulary, but it's also a test of your grammar. We will see that as we do the passages. So reading test is basically a test of two things. Predominantly, it's the test of your vocabulary. Can you understand the paraphrase, right? So you join this course with the goal of doing authentic questions together with me. And then, but as we do these video walkthroughs together, you will be hopefully understanding the essence of doing IELTS reading passage. But while doing so, you also realize that most of it is also grammar. Like if you, especially when you're doing passage 3, if you don't understand the grammar behind certain questions, you will not do well. So first of all, we need to understand the test format. Test format in what sense? We need to understand the test format from the point of view that there are question types. There are 16 question types. And as you can see that I divided them into two. I divided them into two, those that follow order and those that don't follow order, right? That's the only thing that you need to know for this exam. That's the only thing. When people when people say, oh, exam techniques and those kinds of things, we only mean this thing, all right? That's the only thing that you need to know from test point of view. All right, someone has internet issues probably, all right. And like these are the question types that follow order, all right? These are the question types that follow order. And there are only 4 types of questions that don't follow order, and that's matching information question. Which paragraph contains the following information? Matching features type of question. Match names with the statements. Classification. Classify these statements as being true. Choosing from the list, they give you 5 statements and you need to choose 2 from but I have to add some notes as we do them. All right. Again, there are 16 types of questions. I'll explain, rather than explaining them separately in one lesson, what I decided to do, I'm going to explain them as we have 1 passage a day, all right? We do 2 passages a day. So like these questions, just keep in mind that the only thing that you need to know, the questions that don't follow order, predominantly these 2. There are 2 questions that don't follow order, and they are the following, all right? These 2 that don't follow order. Matching information, which paragraph comes, because these 2 are like, this one is also, but there is something you need to know about this one, choosing from a list. It usually appears in passage 2, and usually answers for this one, for this type of, come from a single paragraph. All right, that's something you need to know. The answers come from a single paragraph. And then the other thing that you need to know, this one is really rare, to the point it's like non-existent, all right? But these 2 are really common in passage 2. This one is usually in passage 2 as well. Then all the other types of questions, luckily for us, they're all in order. Now, let me explain you what order is, right? What is order? So it means with these 3 types of questions, matching information, matching features, we know that matching the names. When you see this type of question, you need to, once you finish the paragraph, you need to look at all of the such type of questions, But with all the other ones, just looking at the beginning is sufficient. Just looking at the first question is more than enough. All right. That's the only thing that you need to know from test point of view. Then it either comes down, everything else is secondary. Do you understand what you're reading? That's the only thing. There are no techniques. When people mean techniques, that's the only thing they could be talking about. Knowing question types and what each one of them means. All right. Some of you who are having like voice issues, it's because of your own settings, and that you probably have internet issues, because so many other people on the chat, they have decent voice, I guess quality. So I think you have to fix that. So I'll obviously send this document. All right. I'll send this document. But these are all the types of questions. All right. For each type of question, I gave an example. Each type of question, I gave an example. So nowadays, because I work with, the reading a lot, so you can see that way IELTS has developed has been pretty much standard. In reading passage one, you always have nowadays, I'm not saying all the time, guys, I'm talking about 80% of the time. 80% of the time, passage one, notes completion question, plus true, false, not given. All right. And then passage two, I'm not saying all the time, it's matching information or matching headings, matching information, followed by matching names, followed by summary completion, gap filling type. Summary completion, gap filling type. And passage three, they first start with yes, no, not given. Yes, no, not given. Then they follow it up with multiple choice, Then they give you summary completion, another summary completion, but this time not gap filling one, but choices, and you need to choose from a list. All right, the vast majority of IELTS passages, 80, probably 90% of the passages these days, how like these, like when you count them, how many types of questions do you have? When you count them, notes completion 1, true, false 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, like because summary completion, 7 types of questions the IELTS use predominantly. All right, IELTS uses predominantly these 7 types of question. Notes completion, this one, notes completion, this the easiest type. We're going to talk about what to do. Then in passage 1, another type of question they use is true, false, not given. IELTS most popular type of question. In passage 2, we have matching information. Matching information question, this type of, which paragraph contains the following information? Which paragraph contains the following information? All right, this one. And then another type of question that you find in passage 2 is matching names. I'm talking about this one. This, we predominantly call it matching features because instead of names, you could also be given like sometimes countries, organizations, years, but the overall name is matching features. Someone is playing with the screen and it's like annoying. Like again, I will kick you out. It's very easy for me to kick you out. Can you please stop playing with it? And then summary completion, gap filling questions. All right, summary completion, gap filling questions. And yes, no, not given questions you have in passage 3. Yes, no, not given questions. These are yes, no, not given questions. Then you have multiple choice questions. They are in order as well. This is multiple choice question, like the one I'm talking about. And finally, we have summary completion choices type. Summary completion 7.2. 7.2. This is the one I'm talking about. You see, they give you choices and you need to, which one matches which gap. So, like I said, the vast majority of questions fall into these passages, out of 16 types of questions, IELTS uses only, okay, let me first of all clear that because some guy, I don't know who's playing with the screen, but or how do I clear that? Because I used Zoom long time ago. All right, cleared all drawings, yes, because yes, now everything is good. Yeah, I did. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Someone was playing with it. So that's pretty much it, guys. So what we'll do in the course, we will in each lesson. Let me explain what it is. In each lesson, we work with the original questions. As you'll find, original questions fall into these 3, and then we will read the passage together. What we will do, we'll analyze, we'll find the evidence for each question, we'll understand. Then the next thing we do, we make a paraphrase table so that you see which word is being paraphrased how. Then we'll read a passage together. Sounds like plan? All right. Confirmation, people. You understood what I'm saying, right? All right. Wonderful. So let's get started. Today, we're going to start the course. With the 17th of February 2024 Uzbekistan question. Sounds like a plan? All right. All right, just a second. right? All right, let's go. So can you guys see the passage and the questions as well? Right? Okay, what I'll do as of next lesson, before each lesson, I'll send you the passages. All right. Today I couldn't do that, but as of next lesson, before each lesson, I'll send you the text, the article, everything, word list, everything. All right. Can you guys like some of your hands up? Like, can you lower your hands? It's annoying. All right, just do you want to speak Nader? Then also there is Nargiza. Do you guys want to say something? Can you lower your hand? All right, because okay, now I know Zoom can be, there's some learning to do when you are using Zoom, but it's not really difficult technology, guys. It's not really difficult technology. You're not using Rocket. You're not operating on a Rocket. It's an easy app. There are only a few, buttons. That's it. All right. If that's the case, why don't we get started? So this was Cambridge. Oh, I'm sorry, Cambridge, I said. This is February 17, 2024 passage, tunneling under the Thames. You can ask the candidates, and that's what they had for passage one. So what I think the most important thing for you to do, first of all, you need to read the title. Usually with passage one, it's easy because it's a descriptive passage. And you need to, before you go to the questions, you need to have an idea what you're reading about. Yeah, Gafaro, I just said that from next lesson, I will do that. The first tunnel ever to be built. That's okay. Can you please speak slowly? That's what I can do. That's something I can do. First of all, you read the title, then you read the subtitle, because before you go to the questions, you should have an idea of what you're reading about. So tunneling under the Thames, everybody knows what a tunnel is. So if you are in Tashkent, you are somewhere, Uzbekistan, I mean, in Tashkent, we use tunnels a lot, right? Because somehow cars are more important than humans here, or in most cities nowadays, right? So the first tunnel ever to be built a major river was the tunnel under London's River Thames. Hopefully that's how you read. All right. So I already have an idea. It's going to be a passage about how they built a tunnel under a major river, a big river, London's River Thames. All right. Then when I go to the questions, I have two things in mind. Do I not have those two types of questions? Can you guys tell me what four types of questions never come in order? What types of questions never come in order? What four types of questions never come in order? What four types of questions never come in order?
Match heading, answer.
No, no, matching headings are in order. Matching headings are in order. Matching information, matching features. What else?
Matching.
Multiple choice in order, multiple choice in order.
Classification and choosing from a list, something.
Heading.
All right, can you guys write it in
Maybe
the chat?
in
Can you
order
write it in
questions.
the chat? Can you write it in the chat? Like,
Okay,
yes,
okay.
yes. So there are four of them. They are matching information, then matching features, then choosing from a list. Thank you, Ruxora. Ruxora, good job. Choosing from a list, and then classification, right? These are the four. Your main goal is to see if these four are like there or not. All right. I already wrote that in the chat. If they are not in there, you are lucky, I'm great, because it's going to be easy. Because all the other types of questions follow order. All the other types of, can you tell me, or like, I guess before you tell me, I need to explain what order means. If you find question number one, and question number, because it's true, false, not given questions are in order, question number two should come here. But it doesn't mean question number 7, 9 will be bottom. Like 9 means 9 could be here too. But what it means, 10 will not be here. Each type of question has order for itself. All right. So you just need to know that. But luckily for us, in passage one, everything is in order. So what you will find in most cases, you will find like passage one will be like this, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. That's how passage ones. I'm not saying all the time. That's 80% of the time. 80% of the time, passage one, everything is going to be in order. All right. So that's the only thing that you need to know. I look at questions and then I start reading them with the goal of finding one word that I cannot miss. All right. In each question, there's always one word that you cannot miss. Here in the early 19th century, all right, that's going to be the one word. Port of London was considered a safer destination. Oh, they are making comparison with other ports. So the things that I highlighted are called keywords. Most people call them keywords, but you can call them whatever the word they want to call. But I like to look at them as if they are the words that help me find the right location, but that I cannot miss the right part. All right. So these are the words that help me not miss the right location for the answer. London Bridge provided quick access for cargo being sent to the southern Britain. You see, in each question, we are finding one word that's impossible to be paraphrased. Again, you can say that. In each question, you are finding one word that's impossible to be paraphrased, right? And then it was generally believed that new river crossing would be, the keyword here is profitable. New river crossing would be profitable. Building a second bridge crossing was initially considered to be the best solution. Then it was believed that coal could be found on the River Thames. The Thames Arch River Company was the first group to try tunneling under below. It was the first group. Some of the Trivet's men, they were injured during the mudslide at this tunnel, and Thames ran out of money to finance the project. So what I've done just now, guys, you do it over time, you learn to get it better at doing this. You'll do it in like all the questions, probably you do it 1 or 2 minutes, right? At most. But I'm just doing it more slowly to explain. You look at each question, finding one word that you cannot miss. For example, in question number 1, there is no way I could miss 19th century in Port of London. In question number 2, it's Southern Britain and London Bridge as well. In question number 3, it's new river crossing and profitable. In question number 4, it's second bridge crossing and the best solution, etc. In each question, I'm finding one word that I cannot miss while I'm reading the text. When I'm reading the text, I will be like, oh, I remember reading this question. So that's the word we call keyword. Then one word only, all right? I believe, honestly, Mark Brunel, when they talk about Mark Brunel, I can look at these questions. But anyways, let's look at that. Brunel noticed a kind of something, that kind of thing made tunnel in wood. All right. Brunel created a device called tunneling shield to protect, but I'm just doing it in today's lesson, but in the future lessons, you'll find that you don't even have to read all of them, because I think reading the subheadings is more than enough for this type of question, because they guide you where the answers are. Brunel planned to build a shallow tunnel, so the earth would have a higher content of something. Some problem faced by miners. What kind of problems were there? There were frequent floods caused by mechanical breakdowns. The miners suffered from something. All right, miners suffered from something. And because pollution in the tunnels, lighting problems led to several something. And Brunel did not have enough money to repay his debt to somebody, or the government probably, right? So I read the question, and I read each question with the goal of finding one word that I cannot miss, all right? Then what you do, guys, it's important that you keep that in mind, because 9 could be immediately here. 9 could be immediately here, all right? From the first line, I could find 9. So what I do, I keep an eye on the questions, the first 2 of each question. All right. When you are reading, because this type of questions follow order, I will explain what to do with the other 4 questions that are not in order. But with the questions that come in order, you keep an eye on the first of each question type, the first of. You don't even have to look at 2 of them. You can just look at 1 of them. All right. So Just a second. All right. So let's get started. I don't know why it's not. Let's go. At the beginning of the 19th century, the port of London was the busiest, right? It was busy. How? It was busiest in the world. Cargoes that had traveled thousands of miles and survived all the hazards. Can you guys tell me what hazards mean? Hazards that survived all the hazards? Hazards. Dangers, exactly. The cargoes that survived all the dangers of the sea, they were unloaded. Unloaded means you load, then you unload them on the banks of the river Thames, right? And only for their owners to discover that the most frustrating portion of their journey lay ahead. So you're bringing the cargoes, you're putting them on the banks of London, but the most frustrating portion, okay, we have Port of London, but we know that it's the busiest. Can you guys tell me what's the answer for question number one, guys? What's the answer for question number one? What's the answer for question number one? Exactly. Question number is not one is going to be not given because why? Well, the question number one is not given. We know that part of London was the busiest, right? We know it was the busiest, but in our question, it's saying it was safer destination than other ports. It's saying it's safer than others, but it's not talking about other ports, and they are not making comparison. All right? Boshqa portlar bilan taqqoslayotgani yo'q. Va bizada faqat uni busiestligini bilamiz. There's no comparison. When there's no comparison, the answer is going to be not given. So you're going to put it here, and then right to those next to those lines, you're going to put the number. You need to be like always get into the habit of doing that. Because when you do that, when you have time left, you can go over the questions one more time. All right? Let's continue. The consignments intended for the southern parts of Britain had to be lifted onto horse carts. You put them on horse carts, pull through the docks, you put them through the docks, and across London Bridge. London Bridge was built in the 12th century and as impractical as its early date implies. Okay? This thing was impractical because it was built, London Bridge was built in the 12th century, right? And the whole, this whole, process might be impractical, but that's what they do. They put them onto horse carts, then pull through the dogs, and then they do this across London Bridge. So question number 2 says, London Bridge provided quick access for cargo being sent to southern Britain. Did it provide quick access, guys? Did it provide quick access for southern Bridge? So the answer is going to be false, exactly, because instead, it's actually what you are doing. You're putting them onto carts, then you are taking them through the docks. It's not providing quick access. So the answer is going to be what? The answer is going to be false. All right? The answer is going to be false. Javobimiz false bo'ldi. Chunki text aytyapti, ularni ot aravalarga yuklab, doklar bo'ylab, London ko'prigi bo'ylab tortish kerak deyapti. Bu yoqda text aytyapti, birdan Janubiy Britaniyaga olib borib qo'ygan, osongina deyapti. Well, you don't have to know what dock means. I think it's dock is man-made structure through the docks, right? You don't. The good news is you don't have to know every word. You don't have to know every word, and still you can understand the text. So why am I not looking at question number 9, guys? Why am I not looking at question number 9? Because they did not yet mention Brunel. The moment Brunel comes across, I'm going to immediately look at question number 9. All right? And because they are in order. Well, if 9 comes, everything will be in order. All right? But of course, I will send everything, guys. It was intolerable situation. It's a situation that was not tolerable. People couldn't put up with it. It was clear that if private enterprise means private business, agar bironta shaxsiy business could build another crossing closer to the docks, there would be good money to be made in tolls by users. Guys, look at the question number 3. What do you think the answer is for question number 3? What do you think the answer is for question number 3? Exactly. Question number 3 is going to be what? True. Why? Because it's there is good money to be made. That's synonym for what? Profitable. A new crossing, another crossing. So the answer for 3 is going to be what? For 3 is going to be true. Thank you, everyone. Let's continue. Another bridge was out of the question because this would deny sailing ships across the city. And ambitious men turned their thoughts to building tunnel beneath the Thames instead. All right, guys, we have another answer, apparently. We have another answer for question number 4. For question number 4, what do you think the answer is? Building second bridge crossing that was initially ikinchi ko'prik o'tish qurishni eng yaxshi solution deb o'ylangan. Not given, false, no, false. No, it's false exactly because another bridge was out of the question. Out of question means it was not even an option because there is a problem because this would deny sailing ships. Sailing ships wouldn't be able to enter. So the answer is going to be what? The answer is going to be false. All right, number 4 is false. This was not such an obvious idea as it might appear, right? It's not an obvious idea. What's not an obvious idea? Can you guys tell me what this refers to? Can you guys tell me what this refers to? This nimani o'rniga ishlatilyapti? Kim aytadi? Kommentda. Nimani o'rniga ishlatilyapti? No, tunneling beneath the Thames. Okay, tunneling beneath the Thames, tunneling. All right, that's the most important thing. When you're doing reading passages, understanding referencing is the most important thing. Can you understand references? All right. Thames river the tagidan tunnel qilishlik obvious idea emas edi. Although increasing demand for coal had meant great many tunnels had been dug. Ko'p Britaniyada tunnellar qurilgan bo'lsa ham, working methodlar juda oddiy bo'lgan ekan. All right. So here it was believed that coal could be found under River Thames. Did they believe that under River Thames they could find coal? What do you think the answer is for question number 5, guys? For number 5. Exactly. Number 5 is going to be what? Not given. Not given, right? Because they did not believe that. They just said avvallari ko'mir topamiz deb turib ko'p tunnellar qazilgan degan gap bor, lekin bular shunga ishonib qaziyotgani yo'q, u haqida gap yo'q. So the answer is going to be not given. Tunnels were dug by men with simple tools by candlelight. However, in 1807, a group of businessmen set themselves up as the Thames Archway Company. All right. Their ambition was to tunnel below the Thames, but there was little to guide them as there had been no attempt to do this. What do you think the answer for question number 6 is, guys? 6 is going to be what? 6, most of you guys are choosing the answer correctly. Most of you, some people said false, but the answer is true. Why it's true? Because, guys, bundan oldin buni urinish bo'lmagan degani, it was the first group to try tunneling degani. Shuning uchun javobimiz 6-savolning javobi nima bo'ldi? 6-savolning javobi it's going to be true. No previous attempt. The chief engineer, Richard Guy, designer of the world's high-pressure steam engine, his men made progress at the beginning, but things began to go disastrously wrong, with muddy soil pouring into the tunnel. Okay, so things went wrong, then muddy soil poured. Then in the question number 7, it's saying some of his men were injured. Eventually, Thames had enough. Its funds were exhausted. What do you think the answer is? For question number 7, guys. Question number 7. Question number 7, it's going to be what? The answer, guys, not given exactly. So the answer is going to be not given. Eventually, the Thames Arch Company had enough. Its funds were exhausted. Can anybody tell me the definition of its funds were exhausted? What does exhausted mean? Exhausted. If you exhaust resources, it doesn't mean tired. It doesn't mean tired. It means used up. Thank you, Jawahar, right? Used up. All right. The money was used up. And he was sick from exposure to the river. So here it says he ran out of money. So that makes answer for question number 8. Shunda 8-savolning javobi nima bo'ladi? 8-savolning javobi shunda Exactly, true. All right. Xo'p, endi biz hozircha voqealar ketma-ketligiga qaraydigan bo'lsak, bu Bradley ana qurmoqchi bo'ldi. Nima deydi? River tagidan tunnel qurmoqchi bo'ldi, lekin puli tugab qoldi, o'sha ishlamadi. Endi e'tibor yuqorida aytgandim, esingizda bo'lsam, passage mana bu haqiqiy, mana 17-fevralda tushgan passage deb aytdim men sizga. Passage one'lar aksariyat holda men har doim deyotganim yo'q. Shuning uchun ham biz hammasini o'qib chiqdik. Aksariyat holatda hammasi 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 13 keladi. Mana e'tibor bering. 1 2 3 4 5 6 and then here the 7 was here, right? 7 not given. 8, although you know there's always line for not given too, by the way. There's always line for not given too. As you can see, they are all in order. Now I can continue. At that time, the only machines used in mines were pumps. It took men of genius, but the nasosdan foydalangan ekan. It took a man of genius to recognize that a different sort of machine was needed. This genius guy said, we need different kind of machine. Machine that could prevent the roof and walls of a tunnel from collapsing. This man was Marc Brunel, a Frenchman who had become the most common prominent engineers in Britain. All right, this Frenchman was really famous, all right, apparently. All right, so not long after the failure of the Thames River Company, Brunel saw a rotten piece of wood lying on the riverbank. U chirib yotgan yog'ochni ko'ribdi. Examining the wood through magnifying glass, katta qiladigan glass bilan qaraganda, u nimani ko'ribdi? Magnifying glass, lupa degan. Lupa bilan qaraganda yog'ochga, he observed that it was infested with something looked like a worm. Ichida worm bor ekan, hasharot. Brunel realized that as it as it tunneled through the wood, it would push chewed wood boyagi wood chiqib tashqariga chiqarib yoritgan ekan. All right, so there is answer. Brunel noticed how a kind of something made tunnels in wood. What made tunnels in wood? So the answer is going to be what? A kind of worm, right? A kind of worm made tunnel. That's in it's tunneled. So the answer for question number 9 is going to be what? Worm. Brunel realized that the worm's digging technique could be adapted. Bu aytibdi, mana shu wormni texnikasini biz ham qilsak bo'ladi odamlar ham debdi. Yangi tunnel qurish uchun. His realization led him to invent a device that has been used in one form or another in most major tunnels built since, the tunneling shield. Tunneling shield degan narsani mana shu Brad o'ylab topgan ekan. Uni o'sha qurtqumsga qarab ideya kelgan ekan. It consists of a heavy iron frame. Frame gavdasi irondan bo'lgan ekan, ya'ni iron temir. That could be pushed forward a few inches at a time. Faqat tepaga misol uchun ko'tarsangiz bo'ladi har safar. The front of the frame was made up of a series of iron frames that could be folded back to allow miners to dig the ground ahead. You understand how they're explaining how this machine was tunneling shield, how it worked. Behind these frames was a wall consisting of a series of iron plates pressed against the tunnel face and support a set of horizontal wood planks. Bizga hali earth haqida gap kelgani uchun qarayotganim yo'q. Men qachon earth haqida gap qarasam, shunda topaman javobni. It was a complex, rather cumbersome machine. Cumbersome degan noqulay degani va ishlatishga oson bo'lmagan ekan. But it seemed that it would protect the miners from the worst of the river's water. That was suvdan himoya qilgan. Brunel's teams carefully examined earth samples from beneath the riverbed and subsequently decided to dig close to the middle of it where he could. We found the answer. Can you guys tell me the answer for question number 10? Brunel planned to build a shallow tunnel, so the earth would have higher content of what, guys? Higher content of what? What do you think the answer is? Diyorbek, you are writing river bottom. Birinchidan yoqda bitta so'z deb turibdi. Ikkinchidan qanaqa qilib river bottom content bo'la oladi? Riverbed, okay, endi ba'zilaringiz o'ta boshqacha javoblar tashlayapsizlar. Keling bitta narsani kelishib olamiz. Men sizga completion savollarda. All right, with completion questions, guys, you need to keep 3 things in mind. Completion questions, keep 3 things in mind. First of all, grammar. Second of all, collocation. Third of all, logic. All right? All right. So what 3 things I keep in mind? Masalan, Kamila yozyaptilar, solid deb yozyaptilar, to'g'rimi? Solid so'zi mana bu so'z menga yana Sevari ham shunaqa yozyaptilar. Xo'p, qarangizlar. Higher content of. Menga birinchi qaysi so'z turkumi kerak? Okay, I ask myself, qaysi so'z turkumi kerak? Menga qaysi so'z turkumi kerak? 10-savolga. Noun. Xo'p, endi ba'zilaringiz yozayotgan javoblar sifat yozyapsizlar. Misol uchun, qanaqa so'z yozyapsiz? Muddy yoki bo'lmasam yana kim maddi degan u maddi degani u sifat u yana qanaqa boshqa sifatlarni yozyapsizlar sifatlar javob bo'lmaydi degan fe'li u alright keyingi narsa o'sha tanlagan so'zim collocation jihatdan to'g'ri bo'lishi kerak ekan collocation degani birga har doim birga keladigan so'z bo'lishi kerak keyin o'zingiz logichni o'ylashingiz kerak o'sha qo'yayotgan so'zim logikasi bormi deyishingiz kerak if there logic in that answer siz qarang riverbed degan so'zni qo'yib ko'ramiz riverbed degan so'zni qo'yib o'qib ko'ring mana bu logikani ishlatamiz Brunel planned to build shallow tunnel Brunelni maqsadi sayoz tunnel qurmoqchi bo'ldi chunki yer tuproqda riverbed bo'la oladimi tuproqda qanaqa qilib tuproqda river bo'lishi mumkin javobni o'ylayapsizmi tuproqda qanaqa qilib river bo'lishi mumkin endi siz mana 3 ta narsaga e'tibor berar ekanmiz 3 ta narsaga nimaga e'tibor berar ekanmiz grammar then collocation then logic tanlayotgan so'zim grammatik jihatdan to'g'ri bo'lishi kerak tanlayotgan so'zim content of riverbed degan collocation yo'q there is no such collocation then you need to have logic you use this can earth you ask yourself can earth have higher content of riverbed once bo'ldi bizlarda ikkita option hammalaringiz clay bilan sand yozyapsizlar endi to'g'ri javobni topsak bo'ladi qarang Brunel'sni jamoasi tuproqni yaxshi o'rganib chiqqanda ular topdiki Muddy Riverga yaqin tunnel qazgan yaxshiroq ekan sababi ular clay topishni maqsad qilibdi clay yana boya sizlarga yuqorida aytdim referencing degan narsa juda muhim this would be more solid and safe agar clayni topsa solid bo'ladi yaxshi bo'ladi va shu bilan safe bo'lar ekan mana bu sanddan ko'ra sand topsa sand yaxshi emas ekan sand dangerous ekan shuning uchun javobimiz nima bo'ladi javobimiz clay the answer is clay the answer is clay people all right again with completion questions you keep that in mind you keep that in mind all right Brunel
Mr.
word
Diyorbek,
yes
is it possible to repeat collocation, logic, and what was?
grammar
Thank you.
grammar collocation and logic all right so now we continue Brunel began work on his tunnel in 1825 but the problems for such an operation soon became apparent but tunneling shield tiqildi endi ishini boshlayapti 1821-yilda endi muammolar kelib chiqyapti birdan ishlab ketmaydi deya although the shield itself worked well water began to drip suv sizib kira boshladi this was more of an annoyance than a danger xavf emas edi lekin annoyance odamni g'ashini keltiradigan narsa while the pump was working nasos ishlayapti the machine proved unreliable mashina unreliable bo'lib chiqdi manaqa ishlayotgan vaqt nasos ishlayotgan payt umuman ishlamay ham qoldi when the pump broke down nasos ishlamay qolganda butunlaygacha ish to'xtadi chunki tunnel quickly flooded mana birinchi muammoni aytdi endi davom etaman ikkinchi muammo miners suffered from something there was occasions when the miners had to abandon their tools flee for their life hayoti uchun tirik qolish uchun qochdi deyapti and then even when Brunel's men were able to work they had to be running the constant risk of pumps failing they also complained frequent headaches and dizziness caused by air quality qarangizlar keldi ham bitta javob chunki air quality degani bad pollutionga sinonim bo'ladi bad air quality endi they suffered from what somebody wrote quality interesting guys you cannot say quality how can you suffer from quality there is no logic in that answer how come there is logic the answer is headache, like headaches, people, headaches. Some of you writing. So that's a good question, honestly. That's a good question. Because some of you will be like, Why not dizziness? Because they complain of frequent headaches and dizziness. Well, now collocation, guys, your knowledge of collocation. Can you suffer from headaches and can you suffer from dizziness? Okay, which one sounds more natural to you? Suffer from headaches? Headaches versus suffer from headaches versus suffer from dizziness. Second off, suffer from dizziness. All right, which one? Which one makes more sense to you? Headaches are more natural, right? Of course, headaches. All right, we cannot suffer from dizziness. You can feel dizzy, but you cannot suffer from it. Again, my original point. With all gap filling questions, hamma gap filling savol turlarida, hamma gap filling savol turlarida grammatika muhim ekan, collocation muhim ekan va logika muhim ekan. All right? Xo'p, va 12-chi savol nima bo'ldi shunda? Yo'q, hali 12-chi savol kelmaymiz. Bu 11-chi savol ekan. All right. Then, the underground was dirty and stale, contaminated due to lack of adequate ventilation system. There were lighting problems too. There were lighting problems. Lighting problems, illuminating the tunnels by candlelight was constant challenge. Lamps were given off only very weak glow. There were a number of accidents because miners could not see what they were doing. So the answer for 12 is going to be what? For 12. 12, it's going to be what? Accidents, exactly, accidents. So the answer is going to be accidents. So, lastly, a number of Brunel's miners worked off the job because they could not tolerate the excessive temperatures that develop in the cramped conditions. Cramped again, juda yomon conditionlarda ishlolmadi. All right. And finally, after the tunnel finished, what happened? Despite all these setbacks, can anybody tell me what setbacks mean? Setbacks, what does setbacks mean? Setbacks. Despite all these setbacks, what does it mean? Setbacks. Problems, thank you. The tunnel finally appeared on the opposite riverbank. Tunnel bo'ldi chiqdi 1841-yilda. Brunel's triumph means success, was only partial. The small payment per person made by the thousands of visitors who flocked to see the marvel hardly paid even a penny per foot the tunnel's construction cost. Muammo shunda bo'libdiki, ana odamlardan pul ishlaymaydigan pulida hech narsa bo'lmabdi. Bir juda kam pul bo'lib qolibdi. Odamlardan pul ishlamoqchi edi-ku. Brunel had gone bankrupt long before the project was complete, and the government loan he had to pay, now he had to pay back the money, but to whom? Pay back the money to whom, guys? Pay back the money to what? Government, exactly. So we finished now. You see 13 is here. 13 is here, right? Now, as you can see, everything was in order. Now I don't have to read the remaining section of the passage. So some things that you need to know from test point of view, like the two things, each type of question, notes completion questions, like always in order, all right? Sometimes they might, but in 100%, true, false, not given questions are true, false, not given questions, in order always in order. Then with notes completion questions, you are finding a key detail. So just keep those things in mind, grammar, logic, collocation. Then each question has evidence, meaning specific lines in a text. You need to find those lines and then match the paraphrase. All right, match the paraphrase. The next thing you do, you make a paraphrase. What? You need to make paraphrase table. Let's go that. Guys, can we make a very quick paraphrase table for this one? All right, let's do this. Just a second. I'm gonna be inserting table. All right. I'm gonna be taking this just a second. Oh, I don't want to put it here. I want to put it here. I want to make a paraphrase table. All right. All right, let's go. Okay, question number one, guys. Question number one. In question number one, which was the keyword that helped us? Question number one. All right, it said busiest, right? But in the text for question, what about in the text? I mean, it was in the question, it said safer, right? But we know it's busiest, but nothing about what? There's no comparison in terms of what? No comparison in terms of safety. Two. Two. We know, let's look at the question number two. Two was, it was provided quick access. Two, it said provided quick access. No, we found false. The answer was, what? Had to be lifted, right? And also pulled through the dogs. It was impractical. So the answer is going to be what? False. Then next one, number three. It was generally believed that New River crossing would be profitable. There was this word, good money to be made. Good money to be made. Right? In tolls. Tolls, like, mana kimdandir yo'ldan foydalanish uchun katta rivojlangan davlatlarda ma'lum bir yo'lda ishlatish uchun pul to'lash kerak. All right, tolls. Right? Number four. Second bridge was initially considered best solution. Second bridge, guess synonym. All right, somebody started playing with the screen again. All right, second bridge, it means another bridge. For best solution is synonym for best solution. Best solution is going to be synonym for what? Here it said opposite, contradiction. There was word. There was which word? For best solution. The best solution, guys. Out of question, exactly. Out of question. 5. Oh no. 5. It was believed that coal could be found. It was not given. It was the first group, 6. 6, guys, 6, first group. Abdul Bari, can you please, for the love of God, stop playing with it? Six. It was what? First attempt in the text. First time, for the first time in the text. It said no attempt. No attempt. Right. Number 7. Some of his men were injured. There's nothing about that. It was not given. 8. What? 8 was, which was the question? 8. Ran out of money. 8. Its funds were exhausted, right? Etc. So I make the full table for you. But let's do all of them each lesson rather than do twice work. I think I just need to do it immediately with you. It's much better if we do it together. 9, kind of warm. 7 was not given. Kind of warm was paraphrased as what looked like warm. Number 9 was what looked like warm. And again, another word was here, made tunnels, right? It said made tunnels. In the text, it said tunneled is a verb. Tunneled is a verb. Number 10. Have higher content of clay. Expect to find clay. Number 11. Suffer from headaches. It said what? Complained of headaches, I guess. Complained of headaches, yes. Complained of headaches. Then number 12. Number 12, guys. Led to several accidents. Lighting, right? Lighting problems. It was paraphrased as they could not see. And then there were accidents. There were a number of accidents. And finally, 13, money paid to be paid to the government. Money to the government. It's going to be synonym for government loan. All right. So these are the quick paraphrase, and like whatever, all right? It should be warm, right? But I wrote warm. And then this one is like this. So, you make this endi qaraysizlar, biz siz bilan kelishib olaylik. Yana yuqoridagidek takrorlayman. IELTS da faqat texnika deb bitta narsani aytish mumkin. U ham bo'lsa, hozirgi undan keyingi passajda birga ataydan mana shunaqaligini tanladim men. Faqat texnika deb qaysi savol turini qanaqa o'ziga xosligi borligini bilish. Qolgan hech narsa texnika emas. Qolgan narsa faqat yo tekstni tushunasiz yo tushunmaysiz. Men bu javobni men xato tanlab qo'yman chunki men bu discover degan so'zni tushunmayapman deyishlik u qo'pol qilib aytganda ahmoqgarchilik. Sababi o'zi test shuni testi. Shu so'zni tushunasizmi, yo'qmi shuni testi. Faqat lug'at, grammatikani testi. Bizada boshqa texnika degan narsani o'zi yo'q. All right? Har doim mana kursdan maqsad biza siz bilan haqiqiy savollar bilan ishlab, shu bilan birgalikda har safar text o'qiymiz hozir. Mana ikkita passage tugatib olaylik. Then we're going to read an article together. What you do, bitta daftar tutasiz, daftarda hamma so'zni o'rganasiz. Okay, you're going to learn all of the new words. You're going to learn all of the new words. That's what this test is about. All right? Did I use any technique? Qanaqadir yarim joyini tashlab ketdimmi, faqat birinchisini o'qib olib turini, ikkinchi paragrafini o'qib oldimmi, nimadir qolmadik-ku. Ammo biz birgalikda qildik, to'g'rimi? There is no such thing. Endi bizda texnika deganda bitta narsani u ham bo'lsa, boshida birinchisi savol turlarini tushuntirayotganimda aytdim. Faqat ikkita savol turi esingizda bo'lsa bo'ldi. Uni hozir keling mana shu savolda gaplashamiz. Mana bu ikkita maraz savol turi bor ekan, qo'pol qilib aytganda, mana shu ikkita savol turida sal boshqacha ekan, qolgan hammasida bir xil ishlab ketaverar ekansiz.
Mr. Diyorbek,
Yes.
can I ask, can you give advice how to learn new words easily?
I think the best way to learn is you learn them in context. Never learn word and it's English translation or like what is it? Uzbek or Russian translation. Just learn everything with context. So you never learn the word marvel itself. Marvel mujiza, you don't say that. For example, if you speak Uzbek or if you speak Russian, you say everyone flocked to see the marvel. Hamma marvelni ko'raman deb chopdi, deyapti. You remember this. You never write one word at all. You always need context. You always need context. I think the easiest and the most important thing. Unique context is the key. Never ever learn individual word. Always learn them in context. For example, when I was learning new words, because I only speak English. I speak Uzbek/English and no other languages. I'm not multilingual. I'm bilingual only. I speak only English. And when I was learning English, the only thing that I did, I just needed context. Man O'zbekchasini ham, ruschasini ham yozmasdim. Faqat gapni yozib olaman, tamom. I write down the sentence, o'sha o'rganayotgan so'zimni highlight qilib qo'yaman, tamom. Definition ham yozmayman, hech narsasini yozmayman. I just write the sentence, that's it. Then I read the sentences. Do I know it? Based on the context. All right, that's the thing that I believe the most important. That worked for me. It does not mean that works for you. Just find out what works for you, but I think that's a good way to learn. All right.
Okay, thank you.
Now let's get started, guys.